It's your girl, Leslie Ray. If you all have been enjoying my podcast and you want to share your own story, the app I use is Anchor. It's a free tool. It allows me to share my story with all of the world because it puts your podcast on pretty much all available platforms. It's just an amazing tool for me to get my story out into the world and to help my fellow alien hippies along their journey. If you want to share your story, use the Anchor app. Good afternoon. You have tuned in to the Universal Energy. It's your girl, Leslie Ray. I hope you're having a great day so far. Today is the summer solstice, and it is also Father's Day. So today begins a new season, the season of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and it also begins the season of Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer. Today on the Universal Energy, I would just kind of like to talk about what is going on astrologically and just kind of how I feel, my take on how it is affecting people currently. So right now, many people are facing suppressed traumas rising to the surface, false relationships, false friendships, things of that sort. They are going to be highlighted because Cancer is all about wanting to be comforted and, being able to tap into those feelings, being able to share those feelings. There's a lot of people in the world who truly feel alone. And, I had somebody ask me, how do you do it? I have a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? Well, I've pretty much been alone since I was about 15, up until I had my child. When that man left my mom, I was pretty much alone from 15 on, and I went back and lived with my dad around 21. So from there, I got pregnant around 25, and it's been me and my daughter ever since. So that is part of my striving to do better every day, is I have to be here for my child. I have to, make sure she knows someone has her back. Someone is going to take care of her. Someone is going to love her the way she is supposed to be loved. And that's how a lot of people feel. If people are facing a false relationship, it's very easy to hold on to the good times. Trust me. I know, because I held on to the good times for years. And not just with my, relationship with my daughter's father, just with a lot of things in life. When I care about somebody, I care about them. But I also have to realize, along my journey, I had to realize some people just aren't there for you like they say they are. And that's the truth. And that's where you've got to have your back. Because if you don't believe in you, who else is going to believe in you? And I tell that to my daughter all the time. So with our emotions being highlighted, we're still going through Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, and we're still having Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And Mercury retrograde ends the 22nd, but it does have a post-shadow phase for about 2 weeks. And Mercury rules over travel, technology, communication, the mind, the intellectual processes of the mind. So that's being highlighted, along with the subconscious programs of the mind being highlighted. So many people right now are facing the limiting beliefs they have held over themselves. Maybe even religious beliefs. Okay, Jupiter just began its retrograde in Pisces. Jupiter is the Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. And the reason that is because Neptune wasn't discovered until, years later. when the telescope was invented. So when Jupiter was the traditional ruler of Pisces, now that Jupiter is going through this transit through Pisces, it's sort of like Jupiter is at home. And Jupiter is about our expansion. So when we have these limiting beliefs that we feel keep us stuck in a place of limitation, those beliefs are coming up right to the surface to be put in our face like, no, you can do this. And, I'm not in competition with nobody. I'm all about that collaboration. A lot of people live in competition, jealousy. If they see somebody else shining, they think it takes away from their shine. That's not the truth, because you ain't gonna shine like another person shines. You got your own shine, and if you trying to go around and take somebody else's shine, it ain't gonna be your shine no way. All right, we gotta realize what we giving time and energy to. I used to give time and energy to so much stuff that was not relevant to my life, and what did I have? Chaos and drama that was not relevant to my life. Me being a psychic, a highly sensitive person, an empath, I care about people, like I said, on a deep level, but I also acknowledge that I have to care about myself and my child first and foremost. And, I've already told people we're gonna see a big divide between narcissism and empathy. I told people this a few months back, and it's gonna become, even to me, this is my take on it, it's gonna even become more pronounced. And a narcissist is somebody who's me, I'm most important, I run the show, and we gotta learn to collaborate. We're all important. We all have a purpose. It's not just one person who's most important, their needs, their wants. We all have needs. We all have wants. We're all important. Here at the Universal Energy, you matter, your feelings matter, and you are important. People feeling down because of what they are facing subconsciously. They feel alone because they're facing, spiritual beliefs, deep-rooted, deep-seated spiritual beliefs. Maybe they went to a certain place their whole life and they're wanting to venture out, check out different things, but they're worried about what maybe their husband's going to say or their family members are going to say. And that keeps us stuck in a place of limitation, because when we go around and we're so worried about what this person thinks and what that person thinks, we're not living out our true self, authentically. Because when you're worried about what everybody else thinks about you, you're going to sit there and conform to what you think people want you to be. We don't need to do that. Trust me. There's too many people trying to be, they look at other people and they're like, well, this person has happiness, this person has this, so I want what they have. Well, A, we don't even know what it took them to get that happiness. B, it could have been hell for that person until they got to that happiness. And C, we shouldn't want and yearn over what somebody else has. Because what exists in someone else can exist within you. And when you are quantumly connected to people, you need to realize, okay, a quantum connection is, say you have a friend that you've known for years, 10, 12 years. Maybe you and that friend don't really talk anymore. But you feel, maybe sometimes you get sad thoughts about them and you ain't really talked to him in a minute because you just kind of moved on. You realized where your place was in that situation. Well, you could actually be sensing the other person's sadness. And that's what people really need to wake up to. When we are quantumly connected to this person and that person, and we have these cords going from this situation to this situation, you've got energy going 100 different places. because you could still have heartbreak from this situation. Maybe you're focused on this new, we've got to heal. And if you me, myself, personally, I've been single a minute. When you get out of a relationship, please take time to yourself. Please take time to yourself. And anybody that jumps right into another relationship right after their other relationship, they have not took the time to heal what they are hurting from in the past relationship. We got to get real with ourselves. We got to get real with where other people are at in their healing. When you begin to do the soul work and take a deeper dive within yourself, taking a look at yourself, I'm not going to lie, it can be intense. When you start to look at the bullshit that, maybe you tell yourself to get by, whatever else, and you start assessing, the little things that you really ain't okay with, but you just kind of accept it. When you really start assessing those things that eat away at your soul, that you kind of just put up with, but you don't really want to, you're going to see how deep it really goes. And you're going to see how deep and rooted the pain is. And every time that you want to speak on something, you don't have to speak on everything, but especially if you're in a relationship or, a family relationship, whatever it may be, you need to share your feelings. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. So many people feel like they can't share their emotions. They feel like it makes them look weak. They feel like, well, I know me, myself, personally, I'm a moon in Scorpio. I get very, very vulnerable when I tell people, deep stuff about me. Now, people know about me quite a bit, but, the deeper stuff, the dark trauma I've been through, only certain people know those things. It's not meant for everybody to know. I can share my story and I don't have to explain every detail of it. And trust me, I used to not be that person. It has taken work and time to get here to this point, to acknowledge that I don't have to speak on everything. Because me, myself, personally, I used to have a very overactive throat chakra. I had to speak on everything. And I had to let everybody know my opinion. And I'm still, I want to help people. But also being a moon in Scorpio, a rising Leo, a sun in Taurus, I can come off a little intimidating. And that's where I had to work on my approach, work on how I even approach a situation, a conversation, whatever else it may be. When you go to talk to somebody, say they answer you with well, whatever, you're probably not going to have the best vibe about that interaction. So we got to be mindful of that ourselves when we go and interact with others. When you go into a energy exchange, and that is just literally, it could be a conversation, it could be a walk with somebody, it could be talking on the internet. That is an energy exchange. When you get on the internet and you're looking at this person's page or that person's page or whatever else, the news is, you are giving your energy to whatever you are looking at on the phone. And I just don't know if a lot of people didn't see the amazing movie, but people need to realize phones can mold a person's behavior. So if a phone can mold a person's behavior, it can mold you into who you think you truly are. So we need to be mindful of that. Do you really like what you're into, or do you feel like, when did I get into this stuff? When did I start liking this stuff? Look at that type of stuff. It's there for a reason. It's being brought to your attention for a reason. Be your true, authentic self. Long before I started collecting crystals, I collected rocks my whole life. Long before I told people I was a psychic, I told people I was a psychic as a waitress. When I would sit people as a hostess and they would tell me, this is crazy, we sat in the exact same table last time, I would say, I know, I'm psychic. And back then, I was not owning my power. When I said that, I sort of believed it because it happened so much and there were so many other incidents in my life, but I had not dove deep into what was truly happening. We are each psychic. That is the truth. Now, depending on how tapped in you are, is going to be how much you hear your intuition. A lot of people quiet out the intuition. And like I said, when I truly, my grand awakening, which set me on to this path, started back in 2012. But God was always trying to give me little hints and signals along the way to where I probably would have been on the same path a long time before that. But, like I said, Sun in Taurus, Moon in Scorpio, Rising Leo can be a little bit stubborn. I'm working on it, We got to work on those programs. We've got to work on, each person has something they want to make better about themselves. And some people may feel content. Maybe you feel content in one area, but you want to work on how you handle stressful situations. Maybe you feel content at handling stressful situations, but you want to handle your emotions better. So many people are taking a look at things like that. So many people hide out their emotions. They suppress their emotions. They don't talk about their emotions. Like I said, they worry. It could make them be perceived as weak. And honestly, back in the day, men were taught not to share emotion. They were taught if they did share emotion, it made them look weak. You're a boy, you don't cry. That's what they were told. So they were literally made to feel that they were not supposed to show emotion because that made them look weak. We all cry. That's the truth. Everybody cries. And the more you hold it in, the more, I put this as a post the other day, the more we ignore the silent cries and of our body, of the mind. Say the mind tells you to take a nap, but you just push through. Say the mind's telling you to drink water, but you're not drinking water. You're drinking whatever else that's making you feel tired, run down. We have to listen. We are each tuned in. But like I said, depending upon the level you are within yourself, within yourself, is going to have an effect on how you feel about your intuition. And, whether you call it your intuition, your gut instinct, a lot of people call it their gut instinct, trust your gut. That's the same, that we're talking about the same thing here. But the truth is, I used to think that most of the serotonin was in the brain. Well, then, as more research come out, about 70% of serotonin they found was actually in the stomach. Now, I just came across a new study, and about 90% of our serotonin is in our gut. So literally, by what we eat, what we drink, has so much more of an effect on our feelings than we ever realized. So what we eat, what we drink, it's going to affect our frequency, and it's going to affect how we feel. I know me, myself personally, when I eat maybe not the most nutritious food, I don't really eat a lot of fast food, maybe Panera bread. There's a few others here and there, but that's about it. When I do, if I do slack, I can feel it. And I can feel it very strongly. Fatigue, brain fog, whatever else it may be. We each have to listen to what we are being nudged at, whatever is being nudged towards us or trying to be brought to our attention. Try to listen. Try to see what is trying to be shown to you. Because the more we just block it out, it's going to be there. It may be in the background, hidden beneath the seams, deep in the dirt, but it's still there. Like I said, when I hadn't dealt with those suppressed traumas, I got with my daughter's father, and he didn't even know about part of these traumas. I have fear of abandonment issues. I was abandoned, so I deal with that. We have to be real within ourselves and where we are at, especially if you want to heal and, maybe one day get in another relationship. We've got to face ourselves. It's not always the other person. And the more you start to call yourself out on what you do, you won't be worried about what that other person does. Trust me. I came up with this quote. I've shared it with y'all before. Projection is flawed perception of perfection. So that's when somebody points the finger. Well, you do this and you do this, but we do the same thing. Is when one points the finger at another at something they actually do within themselves. That is what projection is. And we can't be doing it. You got to be mindful of when you do project. Because just like they taught us, when you point the finger, you've got three pointing right back at you. It goes very true with projection. When we think we're better than somebody because we do this, or we're better than somebody because we don't do this, no. We're just placing ourselves in a limitation. We have to accept that every person is living out their reality from their level of perception. Some people are open-minded. Some people are, they have their circle of knowledge, and they're content with their circle of knowledge. They don't want any more knowledge in their circle. Like I've told y'all, myself personally, I like to always expand my circle of knowledge. I've walked many different paths. That allows me to have conversations with many different walks of life. I've walked many different roads. I was a cheerleader. I've been in that place. The summer camp I've told y'all about. Adult summer camp. So I've walked many different paths. God has me on the path I'm meant to be. And I'm just here to share my story and to help my fellow humans rise to the true potential that is within every one of us. I hope you have a beautiful week. Remember, Cancer season started. Your emotions could be heightened. Feelings of wanting to be comforted. Your intuition could be heightened. Pluto's retrograde in Capricorn. Saturn's retrograde in Aquarius. And we now have Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. It's a year of transformation. I've been saying this. Take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on others. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope your summer goes amazing. And I will be making more podcasts. Have a great day.